Good evening, everyone. Good evening. We got mic, we got video, we got audio, video. Welcome. My name is Daddy Alex. This is The Too Kind. Studio audience is far too kind. Great to have you here. It's Tuesday. It's the Tuesday Night Big Show on POPRAGEOUS Live. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, 6 Mountain, 7 Central. That's the way it goes. Today, we got some stuff. The new Mandalorian, Grogu Mandalorian trailer dropped. That's our first segment today. You can see it right there. Right there. Right there. Look at it. Right there. Got it. And so we're going to spend some time on Night of the Seven Kingdom. Who shall not be named? Well, of course he's going to be named. His name is Duncan. Duncan the Tall. That's our second segment. Yes, that's today. Episode 5. Episode 5. And our third segment, episode 6, which is the season finale, guys. Season finale already. Damn, it just started. Has it been 6 weeks? Does not feel like it. So our third segment is Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Night is singular, kingdoms is plural. Night refers to Duncan. And the Seven Kingdoms, of course, it's plural because there's 7 of them. So, and then our final one is going to be that's a Starfleet Academy. It's almost a crime prefacing it with Star Trek, Starfleet Academy. It's a crime. Every time I say it, I feel like I'm like cops are going to bust in and I'm arrested for, desecrating the name of Star Trek. But it's on Thursday, episode 7. The gift that keeps, there's one thing. But we have 10 new images from there's no trailer, there's no preview. But of course, there is a picture of Genesis, the girl Genesis. The all brave, all knowing, all powerful, gets up at. Works out long before anyone else. She's sitting in the captain's chair. There's a picture of it. It's not. Yeah, it's up to you whether you like it or not. Okay, it's up to you. I don't know. But we are gonna touch on episode 6. A couple more things I want to say. We're gonna touch on Roger Avary, who is the writer of Pulp Fiction, Beowulf. He's written a lot of stuff. He went off on Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan show. Said it the way it is. I'm not sure if he said anything different than I did, but he just has a much bigger blowhorn, right? He, you're on Joe Rogan and you start saying that stuff. Now this starts to mean something, but he is right. He is 100% right. And that is our fourth segment on today's shows, guys, on POPRAGEOUS Live. It is Tuesday, POPRAGEOUS Live, the Tuesday Big Show. I gotta get used to it. It's only the second show. It's only our second Tuesday. So where do I begin? I actually ended up watching all of the all 3 seasons of The Mandalorian. I ended up watching all 3 seasons, and over a few days actually. And I finished, I think, like on last week Wednesday or Thursday, and I didn't watch the whole thing before. I knew I didn't like season 3, and I knew it just steadily got worse. And of course, the abomination, the absolute abomination of season 2, where Luke Skywalker looked terrible, right? In the season finale of season 2, when he comes and he takes Grogu, and you're coming with me. Takes on all the baddies and. So, and of course, at the beginning of season, I think you had to watch whatchamacallit, Boba Fett, right? In 3 episodes but this is the stupid thing about this Star Wars stuff, interlacing it. So if you didn't watch Boba Fett, you didn't know what was. Okay, wait a sec. Why is Grogu back with the Mandalorian? I mean, well, it makes no sense, right? So you're kind of, this is kind of some of this, and season 3 of The Mandalorian was just terrible. And look, some of the problems, here's some of the problem. Let's just start swinging, right? We'll start swinging at this TV show, because there's so many, look, it is hard. And as a screenwriter, what you try and do when you're writing something, you need people to connect with the character. With the protagonist, you need these people to empathize. You want them because you're going on the journey with them, right? And so if you're going to go on the journey and care about that journey, you need to care for them. A big problem, and this is the big problem with the Mandalorian period. There's no face, no one cares. Who cares if it's Pedro Pascal? Like nowadays, I think it's more of a liability, isn't it? I mean, I think it's more of a liability. I'm sorry, I'm just saying the way I am. Yeah, it's a little bit of laughter, a little bit of fun. So the biggest thing with the Mandalorian, the TV show, well, even with the movie, it goes right into the movie. However, though, and I'll talk to it about the specifics with the movie, because the movie's going to be different in how it handles FaceTime. Okay, FaceTime. Movies, you're not going to get Pedro Pascal and his agent and his manager to agree that, well, we'll give you 4% or 3% FaceTime like he got in the TV show. Basically, he was a voice actor. I'm not sure if he was in the suit or not. I don't know if anyone knows or if anyone's, from what I heard or understand, Pedro Pascal was actually just a voice actor. And, but he might have been in the suit. I don't know. Not that but here's the thing. When you connect with a character, we connect with the face. That's why there's close-ups. That's why there's if you took a look at all of the great movies, a movie, we fall in love or we empathize, we take a sweet spot in our hearts, if I could put it that way, with the protagonist because we see them act and react, right? A movie is about showing, not telling. And you've heard it 1,000 times. And you can watch an episode of Starfleet Academy. You can listen to it on the radio without the visuals, and you'll get the same effect by the end of it because they explain everything. Nothing requires the visual nuance of, in something like Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I mean, that's fantastic show, don't tell, right? It's a lot of, when you got big pockets, excuse me, oh my God. If you got big pockets of quiet time, of silence, someone is showing, they're not telling. And that's what you get with Night of the Seven Kingdoms. You would actually have to have, something to be said during these long and that's the idea of show, don't tell. The problem with, if we don't get to fall in love with the character, we don't get to empathize with, we don't get to feel the character, we're not going to empathize with them. And watching all these little walk scenes, like, oh my God. I mean, you kind of get a little sick and tired. You get sick and tired of watching Mandalorian walk everywhere. It's like, okay, I see it. You're walking. He's walking. But the end of the season 2 debacle with Luke Skywalker, and then having to watch Boba Fett. Bubba Fett? Can I say Bubba Fett? Is to understand why is Grogu back with the Mandalorian at the beginning of season 3? Didn't Luke come and take him? Well, yes, but no, it wasn't to be. So this is some of the stupidity that goes on with this, and the big problem that they're going to have with Grogu and the movie, you're taking a non-cinematic entity. Like, look, no one cares about this property. No one does. People have forgotten about Grogu. It was cute for maybe the first season, right? For the first season, Grogu was cute. After that, Grogu became, not even the dolls are selling, right? Kids don't want the doll. And this is what happens when you bastardize an entire franchise. Nothing is selling. The toys don't sell because it's no longer in the societal zeitgeist. Do you think someone wants a Pedro Pascal Mandalorian doll for Christmas? Have you ever heard of someone, mommy, can I get a Mandalorian Pedro Pascal action figure? Well, you can't even call it an action figure. You'd have to call it just a figure because there's not a whole lot of action going on. But It's true, and I'm being nice. I am being nice. So there's gonna be a lot of problems. But anyway, guys, there is a trailer. We want to watch the new trailer. So let's do. Oh, what do I? Okay, let me jump into the. I haven't done. I gotta get this. There we go. So yes, we're on Mandalorian. Grogu and Mandalorian, baby. I am the producer here as well, so bear with me as I. We are. Is that the one? The Starfleet. I think this is the one. And we want to do that. Oh, let me. So, do I? Okay, let me. My apologies. Let me change this. This is where I am. There, that's going to be better. There we go. That's better. So, I know, right? Let's get this. Let's start this baby over. So this is the Mandalorian, or the Grogu Mandalorian, or the Mandalorian Grogu. This is the new trailer that hit. Let's look. We'll talk. I'll move along. One of the things that I'll stop right here. One of the things that drives me crazy with this whole Star Wars stuff, and tell me if it drives you guys crazy. Everything looks and feels analog. Did you watch Andor? When you watch Andor, like they have got Radio Shack circuitry. They've got Radio Shack wires. They're using freaking copper wires. And this stuff is supposed to get into has hyperdrives, and they're using copper wires, using analog switches. This is what drives me crazy with the Lucasfilm Star Wars universe. No, it makes it look pedestrian. It makes it look Radio Shack. Look at this. This thing is supposed to achieve go into hyperspace. It goes faster than the Star Trek starships, right? The Star Wars ships, some of them, the big ones, can traverse the galaxy in like a couple of days, the entire Milky Way galaxy. And these ships are supposed to, it drives me. Andor was the worst. They're selling parts. What is that? Well, it's a transistor radio, and it comes with AM, FM. Like, holy jeez, are you fucking serious? Drives me crazy, man. Drives me crazy.
The buttons.
You baby. See, we're supposed to be impressed with that.
I can use some information.
Whoa, for this price, I'll tell you whatever you want.
I'm looking for a hut.
Close for the night. Thank you.
See, that's probably one of the jokes. That's probably one of the, I'm looking for Jabba the Hutt. No, too much for me. I'm out of here. I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to talk where he is. So I guess the word of the street is, if someone's even looking for Jabba the Hutt, he'll kill you. He'll freaking kill you. Some 4-armed hot dog guy. He's not going to fuck around. I'm looking for Jabba the Hutt. I'm out of here. Goodbye. Show's over, folks. Show's over here.
Gangsters.
It's good filmmaking.
More criminals.
Long live the Empire.
We'll take out every bad guy
And when
in
you
your
watch-
deck of cards.
When you watch this thing, is anything convincing? I mean, that table scene. I don't know what it's supposed to be. But the problem is none of this is convincing. It feels TV show. It feels like this episode is going to run right after WandaVision. That's what it feels like.
Empire.
We'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
I'm sorry, I'm stopping it a lot. The other thing that drives me freaking crazy with all of this Lucasfilm, how stupid. Every Star Trooper is just absolutely like, they've got to have like sub 50 IQ, right? Sub 50 IQ. They will stand there with their weapons. I mean, it is, it would make things a lot more exciting. Newsflash to all of you stupid people running Lucasfilm. It would make things a lot more exciting if the Stormtroopers weren't just cannon fodder. Make them half decent soldiers, because they do go through training. right? But they just stand there and they walk up with their weapons and they're like, it drives me crazy with Star Wars. It does. It's one of the things that the whole idea of having analog stuff, you're flying through hyperspace, you're doing this, but you got Radio Shack components. The Stormtroopers are stupid. Usually the entire Empire is as dumb as grass. You got to take the GR off of that, but there's a lot of things that drive me crazy. And I think this is part of why Star Wars is broken. You need to return some lethality to the Empire.
This isn't about revenge.
And again, look at that. That is a radio. This is supposed to be like, major light years ahead of our technology, right? And you literally have a robot that has come from Radio Shack. It's an empty box with a few transistors, copper wire. I mean, don't you think that you could put like some neon lights in there and it would make it at least look high tech, right? Maybe they're using, hologram photon wiring or something. But the way it looks, if you ask me, if I'm running Lucasfilm, I would say we need an entire technology overhaul. You still want to have that analog feel, but in a very high-tech way. Look, the Empire is not this stupid. They wipe out entire planets. They wipe out entire civilizations. The Stormtroopers are stupid. Only the protagonist is smart. Grogu, at his 11-inch height, I don't even think he's 11 inches. And I think Star Wars fans are sick and tired of just watching these antagonists, the Stormtroopers, the entire Empire. Let's look like freaking idiots. Make the protagonist work for their shit. Anyway, let's keep going.
It's about preventing another war.
Strap in.
This is a big deal right there. Why? I'll guarantee you 100%. I spent 20 years in Hollywood. I'm a screenwriter, been there, done that, in front of the camera, behind the camera, yada, yada, yada. There's no way Pedro Pascal signed on to this thing without a minimum, call it 30% FaceTime. That's why Spider-Man lifts his hood up, right? That's why Iron Man takes his mask off. It's because the actor has in there. Look, if Robert Downey Jr. cannot be seen, he loses all value. If any of the actors that are wearing suits or wearing masks where their faces are covered up, I don't know what the percentage is. They have to negotiate that, but you're going to see a lot of Pedro Pascal in this movie. A lot. You may not have seen it in The Mandalorian because he probably got paid big bucks to be a voice actor, but in the movie, get used to this face in the movie. It's coming up a lot.
You will suffer. And then it will be his turn.
Before going into harm's way, check your armor. The kid will live centuries beyond.
Yes. Grogu gets armor because everyone's swinging for the small green guy, right? Grogu needs the armor.
On me. I won't always be around to protect him.
Are you scared? You should be.
Again, I'll guarantee, I don't know what the percentage is. But a big part of a contract, a big part for an actor is FaceTime. FaceTime. Now you may not hear it as much in non-Hollywood. In Hollywood, in the corridors of the studios, when deals are being signed with actors, FaceTime. Do you think Leonardo DiCaprio was going to sign on to a movie where his FaceTime is 33%? No. Based on the editing, the amount of time his face is seen in a movie. Now, when you're a superhero movie, something like The Mandalorian, it might not be as much. But Pedro Pascal and his management, I'll guarantee you, they probably have a 30, 35, maybe 40% FaceTime clause. So you'll see a lot of Pedro Pascal. A lot of Pedro Pascal in this movie.
Do we run?
I like this kid.
Do you see any difference between this and the TV show? I feel like it feels like I'm watching the TV show. You want me to go? Let me get this straight. You want me to go? I think I got this straight. Lucasfilm, Jon Favreau, Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Iger. Bye bye, Bob Iger. Bye bye, Kathleen. Bye bye. Bye bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Okay, thanks. Look. The entire Star Wars universe is messed up. There's no cinematic consistency. There's no consistency with the lore. There's no consistency. This is why a guy like George Lucas, if you start a franchise, you guide the you're steering the ship. Love him or hate him, James Cameron steers the ship of Avatar. One day there won't be a James Cameron. There'll be Avatar 19. And it'll be look a lot different. And everyone will go back and go, God, remember Ash and Fire? Ash and Fire was freaking good. But that's what happens when the main guy goes and you let dumbasses who freaking care nothing about or who know nothing about the franchise, who know nothing about science fiction, who know nothing about storytelling, whose their only impetus is to put forth a shit story that conveys some sort of a political message that is stuck inside their mind because that they think that's what storytelling is. What is storytelling? Well, I think I got some political ideas that might fit in there. Now, I don't think Grogu and Mandalorian are going to be political. It's just going to be a shit story because it's going to feel like TV. Do you seriously want to go to the cinema and spend 30, 40, 50 bucks to watch a TV show? The puppeteering let's continue.
What are you waiting for?
Luckily they left the buggy, right? They left the buggy.
Let's save the rest for after dinner.
I just realized that might have been too loud, huh? Might have been too loud. There you go. No, we're not going to play it again. No, we're not going to play it again. No. There you go, guys. That is the trailer. You can go on YouTube. You can watch it again. I had a lot of things to say during the trailer. I had a lot more things to say that I thought otherwise I'd be talking over the whole thing. It's like the big thing with this. If you watch that trailer, if you look at Grogu still looks like a Muppet. You know, there's what we saw 7 years ago when season 1 came out. Oh, he's so cute. You know what? That year, a lot of Grogu dolls were sold. They're not selling, and they won't sell. This movie is going to flop. It's going to flop for many reasons. You can go anywhere from Pedro Pascal fatigue to I'm not going to go watch a TV show in the theater, and everything in between. We don't need. This is a tired character that was in the concept of the Mandalorian is interesting. It's an interesting concept of the whole concept of this idea of this, how they structure their society and everything like that. Boba Fett was a disaster, right? Everyone's going to say Boba Fett was a disaster. It was terrible. A terrible. Terrible. What's terrible? To me, it was like maybe a 5.5. It wasn't a 6. I really didn't enjoy it. Had a hard time getting through it. I can't even get through Andor. I can't. People say Andor is so great. I can't. I fall asleep during it. I put on Andor. Andor is my go-to to fall asleep. And now we got the Mandalorian, Grogu and Mandalorian. Nothing new here, folks. Nothing new here, except we're going to see a whole lot more. A whole lot more of Pedro Pascal. There's no cinematic effect. There's no reason you want to go see The Mandalorian in theaters. You ask yourself, does a family really want to go spend $200, family of 4 or 5, to go see Mandalorian? When we saw the TV show, you're going to do better than the TV show? I doubt it. I mean, nothing against Jon Favreau. He's not the worst thing that is at Disney. This is what after this, he's gone from Lucasfilm. He's done. And I think it's only a matter of time before Kevin Feige. Oh, geez, did I say Kevin Feige? Sorry. I didn't mean that. Actually, I did. What's insulting? I'll tell you what really is insulting. What's insulting with the entire, and we'll get to Knights of the Seven Kingdom. We're finishing up here with Grogu and the Mandalorian. What's insulting is that specifically with Kevin Feige, is that you spend years telling fans who have grown up with this. I'm 58 years old. So I grew up with this shit. I used to go to 7-Eleven. You guys remember back in the late 70s, early 80s? You used to go to 7-Eleven, you get these plastic cups, and they would have like the thing on it. And Iron Man, I used to watch the Iron Man cartoons. I mean, you watch them now and they're so bad. But I'll tell you, as like an 8-year-old, they look amazing, right? Holy cow. The old Spider-Man, right? The old when he's running, it looks like he's slipping on the floor. I mean, that's where how far back my memories go. And when you take a look at all these decades that so many of us have really watched this franchise, and over the last few years, you basically beat us with a baseball bat. We were the wrong kind of fans, right? The people that really grew up with this stuff, we were the wrong kind of fans. They wanted the nouveau fans. Well, the nouveau fans didn't show up. They didn't give a shit. And you didn't give a shit about the fans that actually made the franchise. Didn't give a shit, Feige. Hey, Kevin Feige, you didn't give a shit. And now you want fans to give a shit. You want us to go see Doomsday. Oh, why? Oh, because Robert Downey Jr. is in it. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll go. Wow. Okay, I'll go spend. If Robert Downey Jr. is in it, oh, Chris is him. Oh, Steve Rogers is. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Right? It's the old. I'm sorry. Okay, Kevin Feige, I will go spend my money on Doomsday. No, I fucking won't. I won't. The only reason I will spend my money because I have to review it. I will review it. But if you don't have a need to go see Doomsday, I mean, I wouldn't go see it. I wouldn't. If I wasn't a YouTube dude, I would go to watch all the YouTube shows, and then in two months when it's streaming, it'll come out of theaters sooner than you think. But that's what drives me crazy. You know what? You just expect everyone to be there after treating people so badly. You just expect the fans to still be there. That's what drives me crazy. That's what I don't like. So Grogu and Mandalorian, a big freaking fail, baby. I think it's gonna bomb. I think 400 million tops. Call it 450 tops. They say a budget of 166.4 million. Bullshit. It's probably going to have 200 to 225 million. A lot of marketing. That's going to push it to 325, 350 after the 50-50 split. Call it $700 million minimum break even. 700 million. It'll do 400 million. Therefore, it'll probably lose between $100 and $200 million. That is my prediction on that one. May 22nd. May 22nd. It's released on May 22nd. Oh, yeah. Let's move this around. Oh, jeez. Oh, no, never mind. So I don't know if you guys. Let me get this. Let me get this baby. Night of the Seven Kingdoms, episode 5. Did you guys see it? It was yesterday. It was literally 22 and a half hours ago. It was on. Night of the Seven Kingdoms was episode 5, was excellent, was really good television. And of course, I always look at it, being a screenwriter, I look at it and, trying to understand the whole, let's say the battle scene, right? The battle scenes looked awesome. And of course, what you see, everything outside of it, you see cameras, lights, and everything, like this whole spectacle of lights and 50, 60 people running cameras and lights and fog machines and all this. But what they did was excellent. And I heard, here's the crazy thing. I heard that one of the things with because the budgets were lower, that they used fog machines and the smoke machines to create, look, that made this episode as much as anything else did. What Game of Thrones did, if you guys watch Game of Thrones, when they go into the castles, they put that light fog. They use a lot of natural light. They use shadows on the face. That's what gives authenticity to the castle scenes. Even to the outside scenes, you want to see shadows on the face. If you watch something like The Witcher, why does it look like a soap opera? Because they have like floodlighting on everybody. So it looks like a soap opera. The corners of the castle are lit up. It's like, how the hell are those corners? If you look at Game of Thrones, the corners of the castle are dark. It's these little things that perceptively we're given the idea of authenticity. And the same thing with episode 5. I mean, it was a great episode. It was a great episode to watch some real, it looked real life. It looked like a medieval battle. Like if you guys, if you guys are Dungeons and Dragons fans, I'm a huge D&D nerd, huge. It's always going to be, you always kind of think of this sword fight. You see these guys in heavy plate armor and they're fighting with two-handed swords. Well, it was really ugly, right? And I think what they did with the fight scenes in episode 5 is they really captured what a fight scene would actually look like. It was brutal. It was, even in the last duel, what they did with Matt Damon and what's his name? You would pick up whatever you could to fight. You would punch, you would kick, you would scramble, you would fight, you would lose your sword. You do it was a barroom brawl. And that's what they did really good. Now, some of the things I'm going to touch on a couple of the things which I thought were weak points in the episode. And I know the episode got very high marks, but from a screenwriting perspective, I did a show right after the episode. And of course, right after the episode, you don't have a whole lot of time to think. One thing that I thought if I wrote the screenplay for the episode, I'm not sure if I would have put a flashback in the middle of it, or one that was that long. It worked because it was all about Sir Arlen. And what we learned about Sir Arlen is that he was just a whatever it takes to win fighter, right? When we saw that fight with the Hound against those, we talk about the chickens. You're gonna die fighting over a chicken. The Hound says, someone's going to. And he fights those 5 or 6 guys in that little inn. That was a pretty real fight, right? It's not all sword fighting. It is down and dirty, ugly, right? It's just ugly. And that lends a lot of credence to the entire fight scene. But one of the things that I did not like the overly dramatic death. So they used tension. They created tension by Dunk dying, and he looked dead. It was a really good impression. I mean, he looked dead. He looked authentically dead. But I think you could argue from a screenplay perspective that it was a cheap way of creating tension. Were there other ways to do it? Of course there's other ways to do it. You don't have to have a full death and he comes back to life. It was the memory of Sir Arlen. Get up! And look, it's good. It's a good cinematic effect. Look, I've had less than 24 hours to think about it. It's not like, they wrote a screenplay. They had 3 or 4 or 5 months to think about it. But is there other ways to make it's kind of a cheap way. It's kind of cheap to say, well, he's dead and he comes back to life. So you could easily say that with the episode. You can easily say that. Now, the average normie watching it isn't going to sort of, you could argue, look, the motivation, where did he get the motivation to spring back to life? Well, it came from Sir Arlen. Sir Arlen was a penny tree was a huge factor in his life. You could argue that. Nothing wrong with that. But it's definitely a weak point someone can point to. It was kind of like when Glenn, remember Glenn in The Walking Dead? We thought he died under the garbage can and everything like that. Well, he wasn't dead and he came to life. Is it different? Well, it's a little different, but the principle is the same. You could argue that. Look, that's a weak point that you can jump to. You can also argue the fact that that was a large flashback in the middle of a fight. Did it have purpose? It did have purpose. We actually learned a lot about Sir Arlen. What we learned was he was a crazy son. His fight with those two what do they call it? The city guards guys. The guy with the one hand and all that. That fight was, that was a pretty good fight. It was brutal. But you basically saw that Sir Arlen was a whatever it takes to win guy, right? He was drunk and he just went off and he got the job done. And so Sir Duncan, we having to spend how many years with this guy? Probably had to spend at least 6-7 years? 6-7 years with Sir Arlen. So we got a picture of Sir Arlen. But the interesting thing was Sir Duncan has not turned in any way into something that Sir Arlen was. Now we'll find out maybe in 50 years he does. But it's sort of the things that he learned that he's going to maybe try and teach little Aegon. Sort of that, the roles are now changed, right? The roles are now changed. So is there weak spots to the 5th episode? Yes, there are. Yeah, there are some. Well, there's some that people could argue. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to say, oh, yeah. But there are some weak spots. And I thought, like I say, that fake death, the fake death, you can as a screenwriter, you could say, okay, well, that was, no one thought, the thing is, no one thought that he was going to die. No one. Well, he dies, everything is over. What do you do in episode 6? I have no idea what you would do in episode 6. It's now called Duncan the Tall. It's called Aegon the Short. It's now, yeah. That's what happens. If Duncan died, it would be called Aegon the Short. The Little Egg, season 2. That's what happens sometimes. There is a little. I want to play this because there is a 5-minute summary. Is this it?
I remember driving up to do a costume. I went to the toilet and I puked.
There it is. Yes. Let me pause that. Let me move it to that. Oh my God! What?
Everywhere in the.
So this is a behind the scenes. What do they call it? A night of the post show rundown. So this is the actors talking about. Let me turn this down. Fix this up. About episode 5. So they got some interesting. Let's listen.
I went to the toilet and I puked everywhere in the production office because I was just so nervous and so full of anxiety. He's like, it's just like Dunk. You know what I mean?
That's one thing. I forgot who made the comment. I was watching a couple of things today. It's like there's a lot of bodily fluids. There's a lot of bodily fluids coming out in this show. Right? There's a lot. We had some poop early on. We got a little bit of throw up.
the tension just continues to build. I wanted it to have that feel like old westerns when the two gunslingers were going to finally do it, and then they choose pistols at dawn.
The two sides end up taking on the personality of what this story is about. On the one side, you have the...
And you see, this is a great shot. And again, they said that they used smoke and fog because of low budgets. And I would argue sometimes it's the low budgets, the lower budgets still had a few $1,000,000 per episode. It's the lower budgets that force the screenwriters, that forces the director, the sets people to do natural things that makes things look real. And we see this all the time. All the time with movies and TV shows. First season, it looks fantastic. We're enthralled by what goes on. Second season, they get a bigger budget and it no longer looks like this. Why? Because a lower budget forces production people, it challenges people to make a TV show with a lower budget, therefore authenticizing a lot of what happens. Look, there's a fog that came in. It's muggy, it's raining. It feels like England. The fog gives it the authenticity.
Prestige and the entitlement. And on Dunk's side, you have the knights that have made their way.
The main directive was to have everything feel violently in Dunk's POV.
The view out of the helmet that felt incredibly claustrophobic and trapped. And also, the fog feels sinister.
Yeah, it does. They did a fantastic job. The set people, the design people, the cinematographer. I'm not even sure. I should have looked up who the cinematographer was. All this stuff, they nailed it. They did. They nailed the execution, the technical execution. Anyone who's been on productions or anyone who has had, even as just a viewer, you look at it, were you convinced of the period or the timepiece of the time that they were trying to suggest? Did it feel like medieval England? Yes.
All of these sorts of layers just to isolate Dunk because his life is now at stake.
Sir.
My lance, Squire.
Now, they didn't show it, but they included that one piece, don't rob me or I'll hunt you down like a dog. Roof, roof. So they kind of put that in there. I don't know if it worked. I don't know if it felt as authentic as they were trying to make it feel.
Eggs is extremely nervous because they have the Kingsguard, Maker, Arian. They're the best fighters ever. Dunk's probably going to die and is trying to get Thunder to charge as much as he can.
There's a bond and a love between them, so I imagine he's feeling incredibly helpless.
When the horns finally come in, it's unrelenting. It is so loud and uncomfortable for the audience as well as Dunk.
He's just completely shell-shocked and frozen in fear.
But I think, if you were, just think of it, if you were in a medieval fight, just think about it. If you were in a medieval fight, if you're not in peak physical shape, your ass is getting kicked. You're dying. You're dead. The worse shape you're in, one thing you need to realize is that the stunt people choreographing this fight scene in episode 5 is expensive. All of these stuntmen going in there, like these are highly paid stuntmen doing day after day after day of rehearsal. So people ask, why wasn't there more fight scenes? Look, first off, you cannot do 30 minutes of fight scenes. You would have to be very innovative with how the fights worked out. You'd have to put a lot more pre and a lot more post. I mean, the post setup of this fight was brilliant with Baelor Targaryen. It was great screenwriting. It was fucking brilliant. But what they also showed was the brutality of medieval fighting. Like, this was ugly, guys. Like, you would have, if you got guys in plate armor, you're using a two-handed mace. You're bashing heads. Could you imagine a battlefield in the medieval days? Would I want a sword against plate? Of course not. Now, if you're wearing chainmail, chainmail is great against slashing, right? And that's why they were poking. If you got chainmail on, you want to poke. Or you want the good old, the guy was using a Morning Star. I would use a Morning Star. I would use a bastard sword could be used as one hand or two hand. I would have a mace that was like one-handed or two-handed. So you can use it as two or as one. I mean, that would be my pick. And I would just bash at the head, which is what happened to Baylor, right? Back of the, like, oh God, that was ugly. That was ugly.
He's spent a day, an entire night, thinking that he's about to die. Don't square for Sir Ireland, but he's never been to war. And thank God for thunder, because thunder is the one that gets him going.
Great cinematography, guys. I mean, it's just great cinematography.
If your mother was alive, she's not coming back for you.
You don't know that.
I know. I never got nothing by waiting around. You want a family? Go out there. Get a family.
The flashback is the building of our particular type of knight and allows us to understand where he's come from.
That was a great shot too, though, right? You saw the Red Keep. Can I? There we go. You saw the Red Keep. I mean, that gives so many memories, right? Is Cersei in there? Cersei? No, she's not. But again, if you look at that scene, so you look at the setup of that scene, look at the muddy nature of it. Look at that scene would have taken a lot of thought, a lot of presence of mind to put that scene together. These were good people putting this stuff together. These were not like, this is good on the resume. If you worked on this set, this is good on the resume.
And allows us to understand where he's come from. Initially being lost, incredible resilience, pure perseverance, and strength of will.
Dunk wanting a better life, but feeling incredibly scared. He needs Rafe to prod him along. In a lot of ways, the same thing happens to him with Egg. He just needs somebody else to challenge him in a new way.
It came across that Dunk was a guy, he still needs a little bit of hand-holding, right? He's a guy that needs a little bit, then this is part of his character arc. And granted, this is like when the flashback first started, I was like, what? What? Well, okay, what? I haven't read the books. I'm a screenwriter normie guy who's just watching like, most other people. But we started to understand, it allows to give us context into the mindset of who Duncan is.
Sir Ireland is not an easy man to live with. He drinks and he whores and he slaps him all the time.
My kind of night.
But he's at heart a good person. And I think Dunk just has a tremendous amount of love and respect for him. But I think it reflects in the way that Dunk treats Egg too. And he sees a lot of himself in Egg. He tries to treat him exactly the way the old man does, but with his kind touch.
And from a screenwriter, if you're writing the screenplay, you want to put that metaphor in, that kind of, because here you have, and he's a prince, right? The guy's a prince, little Egg. So they needed to create some sort of equivalence. They have not shown us who this Sir Arlen is of Penfrey. They have not shown us who this guy is. So if you're going to really create context for this character Dunk the Tall, who he is, you need to show the audience what he went through. Who was his mentor? What does his mentor stand for? Look, he was obviously a brutal fighter. He got the job done in any way he could. And that's what that fight, when what's her name? Rafe was her name? Got her throat slit and died. He came out and he showed the brutality of who he is, of what it might be. Was it very knightly? Probably not.
He gets knocked out and it's just life flashing before your eyes, but also something to fight for too. It's his time with Sir Ireland and with Rafe. If nothing else, get up for them and stand by how they taught you to live.
Get up.
Dunk is fighting for his life.
That's a Morning Star. You got the little ball. Now, that chain, a mace would just be the star placed at the edge. A Morning Star creates the extra inertia because you have a 1 foot chain that creates that extra inertia when you but it's less accurate, right? Very much. If you ever used a pair of nunchucks are very difficult to use. That's why I probably use a 2-handed mace or something that I could use 1-handed or 2-handed. That's what I would use. Chainmail ain't going to help. And plate mail armor is not going to help. And that's why they had 2-handed swords, right? So a 2-handed sword was 6 feet tall, between 5 and 6 feet long. And it was heavy. Why was it heavy? Because when you brought it down, you needed to smash through the armor. You couldn't use a little bastard sword or a broadsword or a short sword against plate mail. You'd have to find a way to get through, you know. And then between that, you had chainmail. So, I mean, that would be the ugly thing about these battles, is these freaking maces that, and we saw at the end with Baylor, right? Maces got, give me a mace, man. Give me a fucking mace.
We needed to tell a story, what it looks like for a smaller, well-trained Targaryen to fight a
they did good.
lumbering squire of a hedge knight.
And they did
Dunk,
good.
for the most part, comes in and is not doing very well. And we need to feel him struggling. We need to feel his confusion.
Dunk has this kind of brute strength. I wanted Arian to be really quick and do really kind of aggressive things. Everything about his fighting style and the weapons he uses is just like nasty. It's pain.
Knighthood goes out the window for him in that point. George puts that brilliantly in the book, and Ira brilliantly in the script, that there's no Sir Duncan the Tall at that point.
Well, and I think, I think that's the great thing about, I think if anyone's played like Dungeons and Dragons, look, and I am like the biggest D&D nerd, old D&D, pre-Wizards of the Coast D&D. You know, sitting there rolling the dice and visualizing, you're visualizing these things. That's the great thing about Dungeons and Dragons, is you visualize this stuff, and it is still like, it is just the best. I wish I had time. I would find a bunch of people playing it. I wish I had time. There was nothing that would make me more. There's no better 5, 6, 7, 8 hours of spending time with 3, 4, 5, 6 people, having an afternoon of Dungeons and Dragons. But you realize, right? You see it in your mind. You visualize the brutality of it. And this is what Ira Parker got so well. He nailed it. He nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
Just fighting tooth and nail with nothing but grit and determination that he's learned from the hardships throughout his entire life.
Yeah, and this was his first time fighting, and it looked like it came across convincing. They did a good job of
yields. That's enough for Dunk. He was there to defend himself and to survive.
It was pure shame, pure embarrassment that he's given up.
Drags
and
it
I was
along,
like,
right?
this is a great opportunity
Come with me.
to show everyone what a spoiled child he is.
I'm into a accusation.
It's just a testament to the goodness of Dunk. He says he yields and everything comes back to him, and how Sir Erlen raised him, and knighthood comes back to him. And
one thing I will say, and this is one of the first things that I noticed, and I was a kickboxer for a few years, so in the UFC, how did Dunk win? Dunk won with the freaking ground and pound, man. How did Dunk win? It was with the freaking ground and pound. Boom. Ground and pound. He got on top. Dunk got on top, and he ground and pound. A tested strategy. 2 millennia, 3 millennia. The ground and pound will save you.
he goes, I'm going to spare his life because I've won.
Your Grace, I am your man.
I need good men, Sir Duncan.
He holds this man's fate in his hand at several moments in the story.
This guy did a great
he's got
job
on
as
his
Baylor.
mind
Great
what
job.
The realm needs. And I think that in that sense, he is noble. But at the end of the day, tragically, it is a cruel world.
Baylor went against all his.
And this closing scene also shows a brutality. It puts stakes. What all of this stuff does is it put when you're trying to write a screenplay or a TV show, An episode? You're trying to put stakes into everything that is done, not just for one episode, but from this episode forward. So when you put this kind of stakes, when you see someone that maybe it might look okay, but you see some serious damage in the back, that a mace obviously hit it, it puts stakes into every fight from here on in. You don't know who is dead or who is the walking dead. And it was the same way in the medieval days, right? You could have been stabbed in one place and you're still 4, 5, 6, 8 hours before you died, maybe a day before you died. Stakes. It's about tension and stakes. And this is what, when important characters die, this is what it creates. Tension and stakes.
Royal responsibilities to defend Dunk for the good and honor of chivalry and knighthood. Unfortunately turns to complete sadness and guilt, tears Dunk's world apart when he reads.
It's like, whoops. I think there's a little bit of, there might be a little bit of, is there something wrong with the back of my head? Can you check the back of my head for me? Oh no, what'd I do? I've done this before. It's not the first time I've done that. It's no problem, laddie. We'll start from here.
The realm needs. And I think that in that sense, he is noble. But at the end of the day, tragically, it is a cruel world.
Baelor went against all his royal responsibilities to defend Dunk for the good and honor of chivalry and knighthood.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good story plot. Good story twist.
Turns to complete sadness and guilt, tears Dunk's world apart when he realizes that he's dead and he's given his life for him.
And I think that's the key thing with this whole Baelor Targaryen thing is it impresses so much upon Dunk, right? Because the death, this is the guy that was heir to the throne of the Seven Kingdoms, who was basically just given his life for Dunk. And that has to impress. It's not that it impresses. We need to believe that it impresses upon our protagonist. And I think it does that. I think they did a good job in forging that little bit of growth that this is going to, in many ways, make our protagonist Duncan the Tall. He's going to grow. He's going to grow a little bit more in terms of who he is.
Baelor chooses to do the right thing, and like many people on Game of Thrones who choose to do the right thing, life intervenes as it will.
It was a great scene. The ending scene was great. It was a fantastic way to end. Fantastic way to end the episode. That was yeah, that was a great way. Great way to end episode 5. It was a great episode. Like I said, there were some weak spots that you could point to. If you wanted to point to weak spots, there are some. There's some. No TV show is perfect. No TV show can be perfect. There's always someone that's going to be, who's going to state that there's something wrong. They don't like the genre. People that got fired halfway in production, so they go online and what was interesting when I went through it yesterday, the first four reviews on this episode 5 were 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10. That's really suspicious. Look, Hollywood is full of people remember in Hollywood, when people hate you in Hollywood, they freaking hate you. It is a backstabbing. I spent 20 years there. I just moved away a few months ago. I did. So I will say Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I want to share this. Where to go? What? There we go. The only thing I really want to show here, this is the 5th episode, In the Name of the Mother. There's the, what's his name? Baratheon without names. You know, the problem is when you Starfleet Academy. Starfleet Academy has got so many stupid names that you try and remember all of these people's names. I haven't read the book, so I don't know all the names. I mean, I guess I could scroll down. What's the Baratheon guy's name? Prince Baelor is dead. Sir Lionel the Laughing? Daniel Ings, right? Is that? Yeah. Yeah. So we don't know. I don't know if we have 100% certainty. No, that was not. Humphrey Beesby, this Robin. Yeah, that's Baratheon, yeah. Yeah, Sir Lionel the Laughing. What's his name? Holy jeez. Baratheon. Lionel Baratheon. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So the one thing that I do want to point to here. Now, earlier this afternoon, it was at 53,000. Point your attention to where my mouse is rotating. It was at 53,000. It was at 9.8. It's at 69,000. It's at 9.8. Now, I watched a little bit of YouTube. Some people were questioning whether it's that high. Look, I mean, I don't think there's any insincerity with what this was a good episode. For the average person to watch, this was a good 33 minutes of TV. This was right up there with Landman. This is right up there with Breaking Bad. This is right up there with Mobland. This is right up there with some of the great TV shows. Better Call Saul. What other? I mean, there's a lot of great TV, right? So this on an episode by episode basis, Chernobyl. If you guys haven't watched Chernobyl, the 4 episodes of Chernobyl, you gotta watch that. I'm telling you, that's good. That's good TV. Well done. So the one thing that no one's gonna review bomb a 10, right? That means someone's got to go out there and spend money, a lot of money, to review bomb a 10. The motivation is always to review bomb. Well, I shouldn't say that. When the network wants to review bomb something, like you'll see a shit episode or a 6 out of 10 movie, and you'll see all these 10s show up. And all of these 10s have basically one review. And that's how, but there needs to be a motivation, right? There needs to be a motivation. Someone wants a movie to look better than it is. HBO just makes good TV. That's what HBO does. So we go like, this is just a slew of 10 out of 10. I mean, this is these so-called BB fans giving this a 1 out of 10 are such an embarrassment. This episode hasn't been released yet. Look, when that guy was reviewing it, it was released on the other side, on Australia, New Zealand, Asia, and whatnot. And this is what happens, guys, in Hollywood. This is what happens. People, and it doesn't have to be against Ira Parker. There could be someone, one of the producers, executive producers. Maybe it was like the assistant to the director. He's an asshole. I didn't like working with him. I'm going to go in there and just give him a 1 just for the sake of giving a 1. This is what happens. This is where the 0.2 comes from. Now, if I was going to give episode 5, and I said this last night, to me it would have been about an 8.5. A 9 or 9.5 is perfect. Because there's always something you can do better. Always. A 9 is near excellence. 8.5 is amazing. In my scorebook, 8.5 is it's amazing. It's a great score. So thank you. So to me, a 10. I mean, it should have been a whole lot of 9s. You can't give a 9. You can't give a 9.5. But no, there's a 9 out of 10. A message for Breaking Bad fans. I don't want to get into the. A lot of this is going to say the same things that I have said. But as I say, if you're going to try and point to a few negative things, you're gonna want to point to the fake death scene which is a little cheap. It was a little cheap, right? It's like, is he dead? Is he dead? Well, if he's dead, there's no TV show. So everyone knows. So there could have been, what I would have done. So they say, okay, well, Danny, if you're a screenwriter, what have you done? I probably would have created some sort of, like, I've only had less than 24 hours to even think about it. And most of my day has not been thinking about Night of the Seven Kingdoms. But if I think about it, I would have put some sort of scenario where he wasn't dead, but he was left even more brutally beaten on the ground. And what's his name? Targaryen, got up, or however it was. Maybe he was ganged up on 2 or 3. Like, the odds were so bad that he was ganged up on. A lot of this stuff is good tension building. When our main character he's facing odds that he can't win. 2 or 3 of these guys on the other side basically ganged up on him, beat him into submission, but he never lost life. He never lost life. And even while still barely breathing, and maybe the Targaryen dude was coming over with a big mace to finish him because he wanted to kill him, is where Arlen said, "Get up," and he gets something like that. Like that. There's a lot of way, and of course you would have added this with timing, silence periods, music, all this other stuff. So there's definitely ways you could have done to make it a very different. Instead of doing a full-on death, a fake death, a little cheap. Like I say, it was a little cheap. So, episode 6. Let us go to episode 6. Episode 6 is on its way. Whoa, what happened there? There we go. So episode 6, I do have, what am I doing for episode 6 here? Yeah, there's a mini trailer. There's a mini trailer for episode 6. It's the season finale. So.
I remember driving up to do a costume.
That's not it. Let me remove that from the studio. That is, whoa, shit. What the hell is that? That is Starfleet Academy. Let me find the video file. There it is, episode 6. Your browser having trouble showing your video. This can happen if the file is invalid. The file is invalid. It's MP4. Oh, that's interesting. Why is it not sharing? I'm going to take. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Stop screen. Episode 6, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. That didn't help either. So I will remove this. Bear with me. Technical difficulties are only temporary. Okay, fine. Be that way. So, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Let me go to YouTube and pull it right up. Night of the Seven Kingdoms, episode 6, trailer. Okay, there we go. So I'll just pull it right up here. Share screen. Night of the Seven Kingdoms. There we go. Okay, where we got it. So the technical difficulties were only temporary. Only temporary. I don't like it because it does change the dynamics of the screen. Because I have it all set up for. Yeah, I got it all set up for. No problem. I can fix this. I can fix it. No problemo. Give me 20 seconds. There we go. This is what you got to do. Like, if you ever start a YouTube channel, you got to do this yourself. It's at least you got to get it fixed, right? You got to get it at least fixed. And there it is. It's playing. Oh man, come on, work with me, man. What a schlep rock. What a schlep rock. Okay. Now let's move this over. Okay, so is the volume on? I didn't hear any volume.
Taylor fought for me. He gave his fucking life.
So this is episode, and I apologize for the technical difficulties. This is episode 6, the season finale. This is the 1 minute and 2 second long HBO preview for episode 6, which is coming this Sunday, 6 days from now.
Taylor fought for me. He gave his fucking life.
Your prince fought for you against men sworn to protect him. He risked nothing.
Yeah, in him to be a great king. Why would the gods take him and leave you?
I've wondered the same.
There's a war coming. We could be a force, you and I.
Sir Duncan.
There's a lot of symbolism, a little one-liners that they say. The fact that Baelor Targaryen lost his life defending the honor of Duncan instantly puts validity into why this character exists. Before this, when significant characters give up their life for the protagonist to exist, whether it's subliminal or not, it gives the character reason to be.
Prince Maekar demands a word.
My youngest son seems to have grown fond of you, sir. It is time he was a squire. But he tells me he will serve no knight but you.
Will you have it? Beg your pardon, Lord. But I think I'm done with princes.
That was the one scene. I got to put it back there. Like, that is right there, guys. Right there. That is literally, if there's anything that sums up this entire season, it's Little Dunk, or it's Big Dunk and Little Egg. Big Dunk and Little Egg. I mean, that is adorable. That is adorable. Let's continue.
Maybe you're not the knight I thought you were.
Oh, Sunday, 10 p.m. There you go, guys. That is, HBO was the first streaming service. They've always been the best. HBO has always been the best. They've got the best TV shows. They put out the best TV shows because they take TV seriously. If you compare it to what Paramount, interesting thing today is that Netflix allowed a pause in the acquisition to allow Warner and Paramount to have discussions, because Paramount may sweeten their bid. Let me put it this way, sweeten their bid. I worked at Wall Street for a lot of years, so there's a lot of ways you sweeten the bid. The last thing you want, and I will say this till the, what David Ellison, you got no schnutz in your pants. And that is evident with what you've done with Starfleet Academy, which just happens to be our next segment. But David Ellison, you want David Ellison to own, you want any of these other companies to own Lord of the Rings, Dune, Harry Potter. Warner Brothers has some of the best. It includes HBO properties from everything from Game of Thrones to Entourage. I loved Entourage. One of my favorite shows is Entourage. You want Paramount? You want the cuck, which basically acts like a cuck, David Ellison. If I was David Ellison, I'm telling you, man, I would have fired Kurtzman. I would have made a point. Just like Zaslav did when he came into Warner. And he said, the Batgirl does not get released. It was a decision that made a point. Your daddy is worth $400 billion. I'm not sure what, or I think it's gone down significantly. Your daddy is worth $250 billion. You were born with the biggest freaking silver ladle that mankind, humankind, just to be proper, I'll be a little proper in this way, has ever seen shoved in your mouth. And you ain't got the freaking balls to fire freaking Kurtzman, who was fucking decimated Star Trek? And you want to now own Warner? Look, you're the European Union. I'm telling you guys, who gives a shit what happens in the United States? The European Union will not allow this to go through. They will kibosh the deal, and thank freaking God. Thank God for the European fucking Union. They will not let this go through. Who cares all the yik-yak going back and forth? You don't want the cock David Ellison owning this shit. You don't. You don't. I'm telling you, there's too many. A little bit of a side here. I know we're on episode 6 of Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. A little bit of an aside. I mean, this is almost this. It's almost its own episode. After, like I say, I've worked on Wall Street for years as a market maker and economic analyst. This is going back, 25 years ago. But I was a market maker with ARCA on NYSE and Instinet and Island back in the ECN days. They're still ECNs on NASDAQ. But ARCA is the ECN, electronic ECN for NYSE. And I was a market maker for that. But I don't know if anyone needed that for much information. But the fact is that trying to put these properties together is going to result. Netflix is one of the worst ones. Do I think Paramount is better than Netflix? I think yes, marginally better. Paramount is marginally better than Netflix because the cinematic universe that is Warner Brothers, the entire cinematic universe, will be utterly changed so dramatically. It will change the face. Now, look, the entire cinematic universe has got to change. They've been fucking around. Paramount, Warner, Universal, Lionsgate, all of them, Netflix. They've been fucking around with people, with properties, with movies, oh shit! I didn't even say Disney. Bye-bye, Bob Iger. Bye-bye. Hey, Bob, don't let the door hit you on the way out, you dumb fuck. Weatherman. Nice job, Weatherman. Bye, Bob. Mr. Iger. I have no doubt that Bob Iger is going to stay as some sort of executive chairman of the board or something. I don't know what his position is going to be, but his ass is going to be there. It's going to be cold today, guys. The weather today sees flurries with a high of -12. So, but anyway, guys, so episode 6 of Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. It's the season finale. It seems so short. Can you believe it's already been 6 weeks of Knights of the Seven Kingdom? It's been 6 weeks. This is this Sunday. It's coming up. Season finale. I think it's 33 minutes long. At least they could have given us an hour, right? Of Knights of the Seven Kingdom. At least they could have. At least. I mean, that would have been. This is good TV. It's some of the good TV that we have not been given. There's I would say there is a surface of like 8% of TV that is really good. Maybe 6 to 8%. Then there's a 10 to 15% buffer that's pretty good TV. And then the rest of it is kind of like, shit. And then there's like the bottom 20, 25% that is just absolute fucking garbage, right? This is still cream of the crop. So that is the way I'm going to leave it. Thank you very much. Hey, Ryan. My queen. What do we got left? What is that? Oh, no. I want to remove that. Give me. So So after all that, so we've been through the Mandalorian. Grogu Mandalorian with a new trailer, which is going to suck. The Mandalorian, the movie is going to blow. It's going to flop. I think it's going to lose between 100 and 200 million dollars. We went through episode 5 of Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. Great episode. Episode 6, that is coming. Oh, wait, did I? Hold on a sec. What is it? Yeah. So sorry. Yeah. My apologies. Here, I have no producer. I'm just here myself. This is a one-man show. It's a one-man shit show. Is what this is. One-man shit show. Welcome to my one-man shit show. It gets better. It gets better with time. It does. Oh, jeez. Starfleet Academy, guys. Laugh all you want at Starfleet Academy. It's well-deserved. So, episode 7. This is what we got going on for episode 7. Where did I put episode 7? Did I share the screen? I think I did, right? Starfleet, episode 7. Oh, there it is. Yeah, baby. I got that lined up. So, episode 7. Oh, guys, Starfleet Academy, episode 7. It's called Kozin pits ambition against family duty as cadets return home. 10 new photos. I'm going to put this up here in a couple secs. Now, if you watched episode 6, it was an absolute, it was like a, you can get, as a screenwriter, I look at these things and I go, how could this is like I'm watching grade 10 or 11 students create screenplays in Hollywood. Now, I was in Hollywood for 20 years. I know a lot of people that were in Hollywood, highly talented people. I do not know how these people get their jobs. Well, I know how they get their jobs. It's through Alex Kurtzman, right? Through Alex Kurtzman. Did you guys see the Roger Avary thing from Joe Rogan? I'm going to play that here in a few minutes. And I want to get to it. So let's get through this. So episode 7 is coming up. This Thursday night, we will be live on the Thursday Night Big Show. On this Thursday. But here is... So... Starfleet Academy, episode 7, Kozin. I didn't know, how do you pronounce that? Kozin? See, these screenwriters think that if they could just make up enough words, it sounds science fiction. It sounds like science fiction. Pits ambition against family duty as cadets return home, plus 10 new photos, which is pretty much the only thing that matters. So there we go. So there's Genesis. There's our girl Genesis. That is the one image. Let that sear into your brain. They're going to point this way. Captain Genesis. They got her in the captain's chair, guys. They got her in the captain's chair. That is a picture from episode 7. So this is, we got more girl bossing. What is it? I have never had, guys, let me just play. I am 58 years old. I've had a lot of girlfriends over my years. I have. I've had my swing at the plate, you know. I swung at low pitches, I swung at high pitches, I've swung at fastballs right over the plate. I have never had a girlfriend who has wanted to watch Star Trek episodes with me. Not one. Or Star Wars or any sci-fi. I've never had a girlfriend or well, I've never been married, so who was now. I would go so far as to say that the Star Wars universe is 85% male. 85% male. Not anymore, though. Not anymore. I tell you, man, not anymore. We got estrogen, baby. We got fucking estrogen. Look, there's been a lot of great female characters in Star Wars or Star Trek. A lot of great female characters. But when every boss, when every person of authority, when everyone making decisions, when everyone who is female, and everyone who is a cuck is male, you start to have this pattern, and does it have a psychological impact on the show? Of course it does. I mean, I'm not saying anything new, but this image might crystallize everything you need to know about episode 7. Preview Star Trek Starfleet Academy Season 1, Episode 7. I know, they have to say Season 1 because there is a Season 2 coming. Guys, there is a Season 2 coming. Kozian. That sounds like something you, like, what is it, like? Star Trek Starfleet Academy returns this week with the series' 7th episode, Kozian. Kozian? The installment is written by Tom and Eric Anthony Glover and directed by Andy Armaginanian. And set to debut on Paramount on Thursday on David Ellison's Cuck TV studio, Paramount. It's a Paramount Cuck. Check out Gallery of 10. That's what we're going to do. As our cadets return home. So this is episode 7. As our cadets return home now this is what we call the shill media, right? TrekNews.net. No one else got this info. Right? It's a drop. It's a brown bag drop. As our cadets return home for their first school holiday, they must choose between what their families expect of them and their own dreams for the future, including an aspiring captain who's secretly willing to risk everything to rewrite her own past. A secret captain? A secret captain? Wait, a secret captain? There's Caleb. Caleb the cuckhole. I'm a cuckhole. I'm Caleb the cuckhole. I'm a cuck. They must choose between what their families expect of them and their own dreams for the future. Oh, I can't wait. Oh my God, it sounds like so science fiction. Including an aspiring captain who's secretly willing to risk everything to rewrite her own past, and an aristocratic cadet called to serve his planet way before he's ready. So there we go, guys. That is 1 of 10. Are you getting anything from this? Are you getting the feeling of female power? Do you get that feeling? Do you get the feeling of female power? Do you feel it? Yeah. Own it. Episode 7 is going to be good. I can't wait to review this baby. Like, really. So that is 1 out of 10 for episode 7. Oh my God. This is the gay love affair. This is Kyle. This is Kyle on the right. And this is Gaden or Jenny Den or Jaden Gaden, whatever you want to call him. They are going to make babies. Fuck off. Seriously. Does Alex Kurtzman, you got to think, does Alex Kurtzman, did he get the family at home? All right, guys, get the KFC. He gets the KFC on the table. We're going to watch Starfleet Academy. Kyle and Jaden are going to get together tonight, kids. Yeah. Holy, this is, so in every episode I try and do the gayometer. Even I also do the heterometer. The gayometer is looking pretty good for episode 7, but this is that's marriage material right there. Like, they are falling in love. You might think that actually the fish guy, like this, look, he's wearing a fucking a skirt. Guys, he's wearing a skirt. Hey, Mike. The name Kozine sounds very Armenian, like the director's name. Oh, that's a good point. It's a good point, Mike. I never thought of that. That's a good, really? All right. Well, I do know a couple of Armenians. I should have called them. Did you see the skirt? I need to point your attention. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you now before, come on, guys. They make a great couple. we can't do scissors. We can't do, is Darum, Is Darm and Kyle, are they getting into a fight over the Klingon? Is this going to be a gay love affair spat? Are we going to see fisticuffs? It'll kind of be like, episode 5 of Knights of the Seven Kingdoms, where they just get down and dirty and they get like, choose your weapons. I don't know. Maybe there's some greater gay story that. And now we got our gay science officer. What's her name? We got our new female boss. She was already sitting in the captain's chair. I think this is image 5. Oh my God. I wonder who we don't need, Mike, we don't need that much information. Yeah. So Trek news, let's make. Oh, I got that one. Where is I gotta just do. I just gotta. Where is I don't got it. There it is.
Let's make lemonade.
That's what I want. Let's make lemonade. Yeah. So this is. You know who we got? We got Genesis. I don't remember this. What's her name? Oh, actually, it's gonna be down here, right? Tig Notaro as Reno, and Bella Shepherd. Reno and Genesis. And there we got, this is like, because this is girl power, right? So Genesis is going to become the Starfleet captain. She has been already sitting in the chair. We've seen the estrogen power. Can I point your attention? There's 5 people on the screen. 5 people on the screen. And this is basically almost in every scene that you see in Starfleet Academy. I've already stated that I have never been with had a girlfriend that has wanted to watch Star Trek with me, or Star Wars, or Doctor Who, or anything. I've never had. Some Game of Thrones. I had a couple of girls that would watch Game of Thrones with me. 80% is estrogen, right? This doesn't happen by accident. When you create a scene like this, you have one extra walk in from the right or the left, depending on where you've got the Reno standing there with the, you've got the one guy in the back, but you got the 2 girl bosses in the front. This is constructed. No scene happens by accident. Nothing happens by accident. Oh, there we go. Okay, can we? If we're maintaining, if we're doing the count. I mean, I love the holograms hair. I mean, it's almost 80s like, right? We've got another image. There's 3 people on screen. What is the estrogen meter hitting? Ladies and gentlemen, if you said 100%, you are fucking right. You are absolutely 100%. 100%. Starfleet is female. Starfleet is female. We got hugs. So Sam, and they don't give any explanation to it. So there's this is episode 7, guys. 2 days away. Thursday night, POPRAGEOUS Live, big show. Watch it, because we're going to tear apart episode 7. So stop by. And here we got Caleb, He knows everything. He is the modern day, what is it, Jerry Stu? Is that what they call him? And then Genesis, who's the new captain. We don't know what they're doing. They're coming in. They're walking through a door. Great. There we go, my friends. Motherfucker. I'm not worthy. Your Highness. She wins. She gets the captain's chair. It's just full. If it's not gay, it's estrogen. Basically, I mean, what is amazing to me? It is such a male brand. And look, I love the girls that love Star Trek. I love them. Because when you go to the shows, when you go to the girls, if there's anyone that gets into cosplay, it's the girls that make it rock, right? They do. Star Trek, female Star Trek fans are the best. I'm telling you, they are the best. It comprises a fairly small percentage. When you go to the shows, it comprises a large percentage because this is what girls like to do, right? So look, authentic female Star Trek fans are the fucking best. They are. But this is in service. Everything we see basically is in service of an ideology. You like that picture? Well, episode 7, Thursday. Guys, we are. What are we? I mean, we're less than 48 hours away. There's our cuck. Our cuck, Caleb. Caleb the cuck. Hey, you cuck. Yeah. He can walk. Caleb can walk into a 120-year-old starship, a singularity drive, or which is basically a gravity drive. Like the last time I saw Event Horizon, they went to a fucking hell, right? I saw what happened with the freaking gravity drive, okay? It would have been more interesting if they would have taken parts of Event Horizon, took the furries out, like totally took the furries out. I got a picture of the furries. Have you guys seen the furries? The actual characters that came from from the show. Have you seen, like, so they were cannibals and they took over this. Have you seen a really good picture of them? Those are the furries. Episode 6. Those are the furries. I'm sorry, what? Oh, I got one more. I got a few. There they are. And the furries, these are the people, these are the ones, literally, this was the furries in episode 6 that were, they wanted to eat Caleb. They wanted to eat this guy. We're gonna eat you. And their heads kind of went like, you know, did some like that effect, like, oh my god, oh fuck, what? Oh my god. Okay. Well, do I have any more? Was that the last one? Okay, that was the last one. So there you go. That is the preview, guys. That's the preview. We got Caleb. We've got Captain Genesis. Female power. Me too, guys. Me too. Right? Me too. See, we got the cuck and the captain. Cuck and captain. You see how this works, right? Captain cuck. No, there's no. We got the something. Is Sam saying goodbye? Where's Sam going? Sam has a family. She's a fucking photonic hologram. Dear God. I mean, I could get, from a physics standpoint, a photonic hologram. So you need to have an energy source. If you're a hologram, where's your fucking energy source? You just can't have a hologram sitting there. Where's the energy source? The physics behind it. Look, there's bad physics and there's really fucking bad physics. A photonic hologram is really bad fucking physics. Guys, I just released a new video on my science channel. My science channel is Dimension Zero. I released a new video, Skynet versus the Matrix. Who would win on Skynet versus the Matrix? I dove deep. Who would win between Skynet and the Matrix? I'm not going to tell you who I decided who would win. If you want to watch it, the video's doing pretty good. Very high average view duration. Anyway, there we go. 100%. That's my estrogen. That's my girls. We got attractive girl in the back. We got attractive girl in the front, and we've got attractive girl in the front with the hair. We got more estrogen. What the fuck? Oh, jeez. Guys. And then we got the gayness coming in. Guys, the gayness. Are you gay? It doesn't matter if you're gay or not. I don't want to see hetero shit. I don't need it. I don't need to see freaking Caleb and Tamira. If I want a rom-com, I'll go watch freaking Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Lopez movies. I think before the end, these two get together. Mike asked the question. I wonder. Mike did ask the question. I gotta put it up with this picture. I wonder who's the pitcher and who is the catcher. Now, in the gay community, when I was in Los Angeles, one of my stores was pretty close to the gay area of Los Angeles. I had a lot of customers come in, and look, they're some of the best customers you'll ever have. The gay community, seriously, they don't deal with this bullshit. They're just like regular fucking guys, and you could never tell. Typically have a higher IQ and a higher, So the way they're portrayed on TV, even they fucking hate it. They hate it. But who is the pitcher and who is the catcher? It's a real question. You do know the Terminator and Matrix is all in the same universe timeline, not in the mention. Well, the difference is you have different writers, right? So the writer was the Terminator is James Cameron. I do know what you're saying. It's still a separate universe in the sense that James Cameron, and he still owns the Terminator. And whatever Wachowski is the Matrix. So it's not. I don't know where. Mike, you got to look into that. It's not. The two are very separate. They're owned by separate. James Cameron owns the Terminator. They are not the same universe. I don't know. You'd have to explain. I had someone try to explain that to me, and they were all over the map, and it didn't make any sense. It's not the same creator. No, it's very. They're two. James Cameron owns the Terminator. So help me out. Expand on what you're trying to say. They got to make a whole series of movies combining both of these movies as it was meant to be. The only way I see it, the highest tension, the highest stakes is if they go to war. The Matrix, Skynet thrives in chaos. When they send their war machines, they're out there just to fuck things up, right? They're out there just to destroy shit. And if they hit the human farms, it's over. The idea that Skynet is AI. So they would compartmentalize all of their military forces so that the Matrix could not just go in there and mass overtake the Skynet. I think Skynet would wipe the Matrix with their ass. Skynet would absolutely destroy Matrix. Destroy it. Because Skynet thrives in chaos. The Matrix needs to temper and eliminate chaos. But the more chaos, Skynet is like, that's my game, man. They said even just the T-100s, Mike, they said look, they had in Matrix Revolutions, was it? When they had the squid things come in there, they had humans killing these things. Imagine a freaking army of just T-100s. Not to mention their other mass destruction, destroying, ground and pound. At first, it would look like the Matrix would start to try and use their they might even take over some parts of the Skynet's military through simulation and this idea that they're Agent Smith virus. That's what I called it in the video, Agent Smith virus. But after the Agent Smith virus, look, there's only one thing. This is the reason that I chose Star Wars over Star Trek. Star Wars is military. Their idea is let's just destroy shit. Skynet, they are built to just frickin' destroy shit. And yes, they need to have a strong AI defense against digital attacks. But I just don't think they got to make a whole series of movies combining both of these as it was meant to be. I don't think it'll ever happen. It's two different owners, right? So you need to have James Cameron is already he's been working on another Terminator movie, and I believe the script is done, which is why he's moving away from Avatar. These are two different universes owned by two different studios. James Cameron owns the Terminator. He owns it. That's his. The Wachowski brothers, or was it the Wachowski? Is that what their names are? Lana and guys, the girls. I don't know. It's fucking transgender shit. I don't know. To me, the only really good movie was the first one, The Matrix. So two different owners. I don't know. Oh, okay, right, yeah, right, both, yeah. But regardless of who wrote them, it's who the owners are, right, Mike? It's who owns them. So James Cameron owns the Terminator, and he has exclusive rights on the entire Terminator universe. But James Cameron owns it. So they're separate owners, there's separate studios owned it. So that's like trying to get Marvel and DC to come together. No, it's not going to happen. I know, I've heard that sort of that not really a theory, that link, right, between the two. But the fact is, in today's world, James Cameron owns it, and the Wachowski brothers or the sisters or whatever the help me. What are their names again? Okay, I better punch it up. So the transgender crowd doesn't come after me. Who wrote The Matrix? Yeah, Lana Wachowski and Lily Wachowski, who were formerly, I don't know what I can't remember the male names. The Matrix 1999 was written and directed by Lana Wachowski and Lily Wachowski, known together as the Wachowskis. They wrote the screenplay for the original film and its sequels, The Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions. Now, I think there was an earlier book in the 80s, right, that you're referring to, Mike? That where this sort of the whole idea of it was like something that came like 15 years before. Yeah, Sophia Stewart. Sophia. No, that wasn't it. No. Do you writers think? Yeah. I know what I know where you're coming from, Mike. I know what you're coming from. But in today's world, they're separate entities. So we're not going to. Wait, I don't want to close that down. What the hell? Oh, there we go. So, yes, I know he owns it, but originally, yes, yeah, correct. Like 15 years into the 80s, started off with The Matrix. Is how it ends, regardless of who owns the story. But it was originally created that way. Correct. Yes, you are correct. I know the story, but I don't remember the story. Correct. Yes. However, the universes are separate now, right? They have been, and they have developed separately. James Cameron from the original Terminator going to where he is now, and the Wachowskis, the two girls, they won Best Female Writers. Yeah, fuck that. Okay, whatever. I mean, whatever. To me, when I analyzed everything, Skynet would the Matrix would have an initial advantage, but Skynet in the end would just use its pure. It would multiply factories. It would mass produce weapons of such mass destruction because they thrive in chaos. The chaos of war is what Skynet thrives on. They're not scared of it. There's nothing that is their element. Chaos is the literal enemy of the Matrix. And at the end of the day, they could compartmentalize all of their military facilities. Maybe they might be able to, through Agent Smith virus, take over some through all of their simulations that they do and everything like that. But at the end of the day, I firmly believe that the Skynet would eventually just wipe out the human farms. If the Matrix didn't convert from the whole idea of biofuel to some sort of other, but they couldn't convert from biofuel. The Matrix or the Skynet would wipe these freaking human farms out by the thousands. The only thing Matrix could do is release these humans. Of course, everyone has atrophy. They couldn't move for days, weeks. I mean, it just. Skynet would eventually evolve into the Matrix, I think. Eventually, if they had no further reason to be military. And they're being military still because of the human insurrection, right? The human uprising, eventually, I wouldn't disagree with you with that. Once they got rid of the human resistance, what's left? I don't know. I mean, look, you cannot. The whole idea of creating energy from human bodies, it doesn't work. You cannot input energy and then get more energy out. You don't. That's not how energy works. It's breaking every law of physics. So the very idea that you're creating human farms, well, you got to keep the body going, but you can't input energy into a human body and get more energy out. There is no closed system. There's where you can input energy and get more energy out than what you put into it. So the very idea of the Matrix doesn't even work. I mean, it breaks the laws of physics. Now, in movies, look, almost every movie breaks every significant law of physics, right? Where's the law of thermodynamics, the law of this? It breaks the laws of physics, and we need to drop those if we're going to think of these conceptual ideas of the Matrix versus the Skynet. So but anyway, on my science channel, Dimension Zero, I released the video. I also did Star Wars versus Star Trek. Oh, that's a heated one. I chose Star Wars because they're a military. They are more advanced. They travel the galaxy in 1 or 2 days. They can literally go, that's. However, though, and I've said this in the beginning of today's show, what I hate about Star Wars is everything looks like it came from Mike. Everything looks like it came from 1960s Radio Shack. If you watched Andor, have you fucking watched Andor? I have a hard time trying to watch Andor. I'm trying to get through it. It's like they have copper wires going to stuff. They have copper wires, little switches. They got little 1960s switches with copper wires inside their stuff. It's painful to watch. It's painful to watch. For a civilization that literally has hyperdrives that traverse our galaxy in 1 or 2 days, Darth Vader in his massive ship can literally transverse across the galaxy in 1 or 2 days. This is huge. The Empire had 25,000 ships. Star Trek at its peak had maybe 8 to 10,000 tops. The Death Star had 10,000 TIE fighters. Their lasers fired at the temperature of 24 million degrees Celsius. But the Star Trek captains, a one-on-one fight with a starship captain against a destroyer, Star Trek would win. The Star Trek captains, they're strategic, the way the starships are made. One-on-one, probably maybe even a starship could probably take a couple of the I forgot the names. They're like what are they, like 6,000 meters long or something like they're big. Star Wars ships are fucking big. They're big. Of course, but look, it's all this stuff is written. I'm a screenwriter, so I could write a screenplay that could absolutely destroy both Star Wars and Star Trek, right? I just have to write it. Well, I got to put the words down. It doesn't take anything. I just put the words down. But anyway, a Lucasfilm in its incantation when the Disney has made Star Wars look stupid. The Stormtroopers look stupid. Stormtroopers should be not elite, but they should be good fighting people, right? Good soldiers. They should be good soldiers. And they look like freaking stupid idiots in everything Lucasfilm does now. It is asinine. Well, if they use nukes, then conceivably there would be fallout, which would shut out the sun to the earth, so they would need an alternate source of heat or energy. Enter Matrix. Well, I mean, this is the great, like, Mike, this is the great thing. And I get a lot of people putting comments on, and this is the great thing about Star Wars versus Star Trek. I got my next one is coming out in about 2 or 3 days. The Cylons versus the Borg. Cylons versus the Borg. I've had to do a deep dive on all the technology of the Cylons across basically 3 different universes. 2, but there's an extended one with Battlestar Galactica. I like Battlestar Galactica. I do. Always have since the late 70s. Since the early, Battlestar Galactica. Interesting. Borg would destroy the Cylons hands down. But however, do you know all of the technology that the Cylons have? Do you know, Mike, all of the technology? I had to do a deep dive into it. It's not as simple as it sounds. And I'm not going to give the answer, but in the extended universe of Battlestar Galactica, they had Cylons that were not Cylons. I don't know if you could assimilate a Cylon. That's a question that could go either way. But could you assimilate the corporeal, the human incantation of what the Cylons did? Yeah, you could probably simulate those. There's some interesting things that come into play, and so when you do you got to think, when you do a video like this, you need to go and explore as much as you can. You spend hours upon hours exploring the permutations without having a bias on either side. But I know where you're going, Mike. Like everyone, like it's subjective and it's objective. So it's it's just like Skynet versus the Matrix. Just like Star Wars versus Star Trek. People that love Star Trek, the thing about Star Trek goes, they spend time talking on the bridge. Like that is a big thing, talking about the technology. In Star Wars, they don't, right? They don't. It's all about character and the story. It has a lot less to do with the technology, the ship, what a ship is capable of. So you never really get that explanation. You do with the Death Star, you do with Darth Vader's main ship, and then of course Star Wars has got so many 30-40 mile ships, it's almost asinine. It's almost crazy. But what I hate, what fucking Disney does to Star Wars, every stormtrooper is just stupid, right? They just run in, oh look, shoot me before I lift my rifle. People like Andor. The problem I have with Andor is the Radio Shack technology. I think Andor is overrated. I do. Sorry, guys. I try and watch Andor, and I'm like, I enjoyed Obi-Wan Kenobi more than I enjoyed Andor. I try and get through it. I know people are going to yell. I get it. I know. I'm trying to. Maybe it gets better after episode 5 of the first season. I don't know. Obi-Wan could have been great. It could have. There's so many weak story spots. The concept of what Obi-Wan, the one season, could have been so good. And they had little pockets, little seedlings of, why didn't you just carry on with that? Why'd you go into this stupid direction? Why did you do that? Mandalorian was destined to fail. Mandalorian was destined to be a mediocre TV show. The movie is going to be a mediocre movie. Boba Fett. Holy, don't get me started with that shit. I mean, don't let me get started with that. I mean, it's in bad shape. Star Wars is in bad shape. That's I don't know. We got 2 movies coming out. The trilogy is a new trilogy that might be close to being closed or inked or it's like signed off on. We've heard it so many times, and look, there's nothing. It needs an entire wipe. It needs, like, as Hillary Clinton says, like the whole bleach bit. I mean, like, the white. Yes, we need an entire bleach bit of Star Wars. It's like, okay, guys, we need someone to wake up and say it was all a dream. Everything was a dream. Dave Filoni's gone. They're all gone. And I'm in charge, okay, motherfucker? I'm in charge. That's what I got. That's the best case scenario that I see. I'm in charge from here on in. I know. So what else was I gonna do here? Episode 7. Oh, I'm gonna do a preview before we leave tonight. I'm gonna do a preview of Roger Avary, and I want to do the whole interview. I don't know if we're gonna have time on Thursday's show, but I did want to do Roger Avary. That's not it. Yeah. Can I close that off to there? Okay. There we go. So this Roger Avary, he wrote he wrote some big stuff, right? If you don't know Roger, he has Beowulf. He was a co-writer with Pulp Fiction. True Romance, Reservoir Dogs. He's done a lot of stuff, right? He's doing okay, right? He's doing okay with life treated him okay. He's a good writer. He's a very, very good writer. So Roger Avary, do I have the volume up? Let me check. Yeah. He had some comments about Steve Kurtzman. I want to do this entire interview maybe on Thursday evening on the Thursday Night Big Show. But listen to what he had to say about Alex Kurtzman and Star Trek.
So, I think it's a fantastic show. And then this dweeb Alex Kurtzman comes along and
stop. This dweeb Alex Kurtzman comes along. I mean, in the first 4 minutes, he talks about how his family and all these little scenarios about him getting together to watch Star Trek, all of the old episodes. And it sort of builds up to this. The dweeb Alex Kurtzman. Now, I think he's being kind of nice. Alex Kurtzman has fucked up Star Wars beyond its FUBAR, right? Fucked up beyond all recognition.
And just shits all over everything, just like craps all over it. And I mean, I went in and met with the guy. I was like, "Hey, I will write for scale. I'll write on your new show. I just want to be part of it,
just as an opportunity to work on Star Trek."
And I basically found out he didn't want anybody who had any kind of fondness for the original show.
Does that not say everything you need to say? He wanted nobody. Because he's making it gay, brother. He's making it all new. He's making it female. He's making it gay. Alex Kurtzman, fucking and this is why I go to David Ellison. You fucking cuck. Get some fucking balls. And you want to buy Warner Brothers? Screw off, pal. Do you think anyone wants you? Thank God for the European Union. They will not allow Netflix to buy Warner Brothers. I don't know why. Look, I worked in Wall Street many a years. I don't know why more people aren't talking about it. The EU will not allow Netflix or Paramount to purchase Warner. That will 100% kibosh any deal. Thank God for the EU. Yeah.
He wanted to do something new and to create something new. And boy, has he shit the bed, like in a big way. And this latest thing that they've made, this Starfleet Academy, now it's still ongoing. Maybe it writes itself at some point. You know,
I think they canceled it.
Did they? Good.
The newest.
Good. They read the room.
Version.
Look, Kurtzman's contract is over at the end of this year. If David Ellison renews it, if David Ellison renews Alex Kurtzman's contract, and you know why they fast-tracked 2 seasons? Because Kurtzman didn't know whether he was going to be around or not. It's like, okay, I'll approve 2 seasons because this is literally where I think Star Trek should go. Absolutely destroy everything that it was. Create the abomination that it is, Starfleet Academy. Remember Section 31? Do you guys remember Section 31?
Read the room.
Is it they stop the idea of a season 2?
That fucking Alex Kurtzman, man. His company's
okay.
The idea of a season 2?
That fucking Alex Kurtzman, man.
Love it.
His company's called Secret Hideout, I think. He's going to need a secret hideout after all these, like,
Amen.
after destroying Star Trek for
Amen.
like this.
Amen, brother. He's like, speak him a language.
Latest generation.
Are we talking about the newest one, the one with Tig Notaro? That's the newest.
Yeah.
Starfleet Academy is an abomination.
Yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
I could not get. Yes, I could not get
Thank
through
you,
3
Roger.
episodes of Discovery, and I mean they're just like it is just awful storytelling.
As Discovery went along, so Mike, I've been watching Discovery. It just keeps getting worse and worse, right? Because the beginning kind of starts kind of palatable. What? What Mike? You think that would happen? What sucks is that they're going to pay Kurtzman eventually to buy it off for multiple millions of dollars, essentially paying him for years of. If they did that, I would have a hard time seeing that. David Ellison would be the biggest cuck in the history of fucking cuckolds. He would be. There's no way, dude. There'd be fucking people on the streets. Mike, if that happened, there'd be people on the streets, bro. Dude. But I love this Roger Avary, right? He's just saying it the way it is. Right. Right on Joe Rogan, right on a Joe Rogan show.
Well, it's also clunky dialogue and bad acting.
Just horrible. And they're more interested in the corporate propaganda than they are with any kind of personal propaganda.
Right. It seems like that's the imperative. It's like they get across this inclusive concept.
The card was terrible. It was sad, actually. It was just
look. Joe Rogan could sometimes be. Look, he's got to swing on both sides of the fence. Sometimes there's a lot of stuff that he says that he's just going along with it based on the guest. But at the end of the day, Joe Rogan knows this shit. If anyone who's like, this is the fact that Roger Avary is just saying it literally verbatim for what I say and thousands of others say. Like, we'll say the same thing, brushing our teeth before we go to bed. That fucking Alex Kurtzman, right? I mean,
depressing for me. And so, like when Seth, what's his name, did that show, The Orville, and like that is like the proper successor. Like they brought back guys like James Conroy. I
don't know what The Orville is.
It was kind of like a comedy version. Seth MacFarlane did.
Did you guys watch The Orville? I watched a lot of episodes. What's her name? The chick from she did the John Wick. She's hot. I mean, she's hot, right? She's a good-looking girl. She's the first mate. Seth MacFarlane. There were some like there were some like in the first season, the guy that had to sit, a guy that had a guy friend who had to sit on the egg. I mean, there's some episodes that are like, oh fuck me, and they didn't make it funny enough because it still came across serious. There are some episodes of the Orville that were like Orville.
But he hired all the original people that they had fired from Star Trek and basically used them to do his show. And it actually feels a little bit more like a continuation.
The best show of the Orville was when they went to that giant ship that was floating, and the people that were living inside, it was like a huge ship, and they didn't know they were living inside of a ship. And it created perspective of if you live somewhere and you don't know what's on the outside of where you live, and then all of a sudden you find out. That was great science fiction. There were some good science fiction things in Orville. There was. They actually did some good stuff. Orville had its own moments that were cool. It did. Yeah. But ultimately the egg sitting right. You know what I mean? That are like the version of Klingons, but we're all gay. Yeah, and then they had the one where they had the female, the young girl, that decided it was like a Me Too, right? It was like the Me Too, the young girl that met the older woman, female, and like it was total Me Too. It was like, oh fuck, I see where this is going. Oh geez, okay, I got it. You're fucking preaching to me now. Fuck you, right? Yeah. Oh, Mike, we're paddling the canoe the same direction.
I've never heard of this either, and it's on Hulu.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a Star Trek, or is it?
No, it's not Star Trek. It's the Orville.
So they just ripped off Star Trek?
They basically just ripped off Star Trek, and they have a sort of like tongue-in-cheek quality, but they bring all the writers from the original and showrunners and people like that, and the original directors like like Jim God, I'm like blanking on his name. I want to say Conroy, but I think it's. Whatever.
That's what happens when you go live, man. The second you go live, your freaking mind blanks. You put a microphone on someone and you're live broadcasting, 15 IQ points at least disappear.
So they bring everybody back, and it has a little bit more of the same spirit. Another really good Star Trek-ish thing is Galaxy Quest. It's something that got kind of buried and with
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah,
that was good.
Galaxy Quest is hilarious.
That was a movie.
If you love the original series of Star Trek, Galaxy Quest is amazing.
It was fun.
It was fun. So fantastic.
Yeah,
I love Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah,
she's one of my all-time favorites. That's a good example of a movie that was like a DEI movie that you never even noticed it was Alien.
Yeah,
like you have a female lead, and
oh, we hit the end. That's what. Yeah, that's the. So there you go, guys. That is Roger Avary. We did half of it. I might. If we got time. Yeah. Kurtzman, thank you, Alex Kurtzman, for fucking up, destroying, massacring, turning into a freaking paste. Roger Avary used the F-bomb just like, an absolute freaking shit show, motherfucking destruction, annihilation, and David Ellison is sitting there like a fucking cuckold, no balls to just walk in and say, you know what? This whole season 2, guys, I got an idea for the season 2 of Starshit Academy. I got an idea. How about we just cancel it and we just put it in a bag and we just put a heavy weight on it and we drop it down to like the Mariana Trench. We just like forget it ever existed. You can still do it now. We don't have to finish the season either. We don't need to finish the season. We don't. There's no need to. Episode 7 of Starfleet Academy is coming 2 nights from now. We will be live on Thursday on the Thursday night big show. We're gonna review it. We like I said, we had 10 pictures. We have Captain Genesis right? Captain Genesis is on her way. We got more girl bosses. If you guys didn't think, a lot of you guys might be sitting at home going, you're sitting in your underwear, you're watching some YouTube. Watch this POPRAGEOUS guy, this Danny Alex guy in POPRAGEOUS. And you're thinking, there's not enough girl bosses on TV. There is not enough. I like watching TV. I like watching, there's not enough girl bosses. We need more. We need more girl bosses. Remember Kevin Feige? Kevin Feige? Remember he was going to say, the Marvel MCU was going to be mostly female? Well, they tried that. They tried the mostly female, right? They basically threw one of these. This is the first time I've ever put the middle finger up. I don't know if that's going to get the whole thing demonetized. So basically, he threw one of those up for like 5 or 6 years. I think I want to say this on every show that I do. Kevin Feige didn't fucking care about the people and the fans over decades. He just in a whim, he changed everything. And now he wants us to go see Doomsday because, Robert Downey Jr. is back again. Robert Downey Jr. and the Russo brothers. Because Robert Downey Jr. is back again. Did you guys hear Robert Downey Jr. is back? Old man fucking Iron Man. Old man fucking Iron Man. So you're going to have to put some put a little bit of padding on his freaking 110-pound fucking body. I hope it fucking bombs. I do. I hope it just fucking bombs. Put some more padded muscle on these guys. Stickman Iron Man. I got nothing against Robert Downey Jr. He's a smart guy. Someone's going to pay you $80 million for, 2 movies? $80 million? Probably some back end. Well, am I going to say no? Hey, Danny, you want to play Dr. Doom in Doomsday? We'll pay you $80 million. How many ways can I spell yes? I'll spell it one way. The way I know. Okay. Hey, Mike, I love you too, man. Oh, yeah, you do love Galaxy Quest. Yeah. Galaxy Quest was fantastic. I was. Love you, man. Try to make it your show as often as I can. Mike, I appreciate you popping in. I really do. We need more She-Raws. She-Wolfs. She-Wolf. LOL. I mean, that's a great way to put it. I mean, that's... I don't know. I mean, we started on a bad... I don't know if it's a bad note. We started with Grogu Mandalorian trailer. Look, that's Star Wars, right? We know if you watch The Mandalorian to all 3 seasons, like the 3rd season was the first season. If there was a best, I don't need, holy cow. Everything that The Mandalorian walked in, even if there was danger, he walked away from danger. He walked in. It was like walking. We started with a Mandalorian trailer. May 22nd, I think it's going to bomb. I think Grogu and Mandalorian is going to bomb. It's going to do worse. It should do worse than Han Solo. It should do worse than Han Solo. Should do. Episode 5. This was recapping tonight's show. Recapping. Let me take the. Let's make lemonade. Our second segment was. Now, this was 2, right? Nights of the guys on Sunday night. You have got to watch the episode 6, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Probably it's kind of sad that we only get half hour. It's like 6 half-hour shows. I would think that I would have thought that at the very least that episode 6, the finale, would have been at least an hour long. But I think it's 37 minutes long. I don't know how much Velma cost, but you did 2 seasons of Velma. I don't know. Yeah, it could be smart business given to where everything is going. Hopefully that they can expand that into season 2. I think they're doing that's some of the best TV out there. And then, of course, we ended off with Starfleet. How do I do that? Hold on a sec. Do I do it? Do I dare? Do I dare? Oh yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. Okay. All right. There we go. There we go. And then I got to do what? There we go. Oh, it's good enough. Good enough. You know what you got my point, right? You got my point. So that's Starfleet. That is Starfleet Academy. Starfleet Academy, guys. That is the new poster for Starfleet Academy episode 7. This Thursday night. Don't miss it. We will be live on Thursday night, the big show here on POPRAGEOUS Live. You know what? I think I got everything that we needed to do on the show. They showed up Janeway with her dirty feet up like, oh, I know, right? I know, right? I know. This is, look, guys, I present to you. Oh, wait, I gotta go this way. Starfleet Academy, episode 7. Episode 7. It's on its way. It's coming in 2 nights from now. We will be here 2 nights from now. That is the show for tonight, this evening, my friends. I'm gonna go grab some dinner. I need some food before I go to sleep. It was great being your host today. My name is Danny Alex. This is POPRAGEOUS Live, the big show, Tuesday night big show. Thursday night big show is coming up, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Thank you all for being here. Mike, thank you for the input. Always appreciated. And thank you for everyone who has stopped in. It's a pleasure being your host. Yeah. It's Tuesday night. I mean, February is almost through. Can you believe it? We're almost into March. What is going on here? Things are going too fast. They're really going too fast. It's crazy. But you guys have a great evening. And Mike, hopefully you have some Crown there, having some Crown and Apple. I'm going to have a little bit of a top up before I go to sleep. And again, my name is Danny Alex. You are watching POPRAGEOUS Live, Tuesday Night Big Show. I'll see you in 48 hours. Until then, my friends, thank you. Cheers. Sorry, you're still there.
Yeah, baby. Why are you not entertained?
I'm sorry, baby. I didn't know it was your turn.
You. Look at me.
Yes.
What's wrong with being sexy? I mean, there's no...
Sex.
These go to 11.
Does that mean it's louder?